All right, guys, welcome to our presentation on education games and simulations. So the first thing we're going to talk about is what are education games and simulations. It's pretty self-explanatory. You've probably played education games in like elementary school, whether it be like math games or science games, but you might not be as familiar with simulations. Basically, they're virtual learning experiences for students in all grade levels. So even in college, we can still use games and simulations to help us learn. Students are going to use a variety of skills to solve problems, tackle obstacles, and think critically about their next steps in games. And it's going to be an enjoyable experience. We're going to move into some of the research behind education games and simulations. So you might be asking yourself, what are the benefits of taking time out of your class to let kids play games? Well, it's actually substantial proof that provides and supports a theory that using games and simulations in the classroom as a stimulant is actually beneficial to students. So there's one of them. Academic games also allow students the opportunity to refine their skills, identify where they're in need of assistance or help, and to what degree. So it can kind of serve as a recap or review of materials and encourage them to learn new skills. Our main goal as educators is to teach students the skills they need to be successful in their lives, and that includes 21st century skills like computer games, functions, typing, developing good stewards, and multiple interpersonal skills, which is something that games and simulations can help you with. And then we also have this one. So simulation learning, this is where we're going to get into simulations. Simulation learning is a method in learning which substantial amount of instruction and material is done via a simulated world. So that could be like you putting yourself in the shoes of a farmer, you putting yourself in the shoes of a roller coaster designer, anything like that. It basically allows students to connect to complex materials through an imagined or simulated world that they wouldn't be able to get if they weren't.
All right, guys, with this slide, we focused on the differences between games and simulations. When we started this, I myself just kind of assumed that they were the same thing, kind of lumped them together into one. But we actually figured out that the main difference is simulations are best described as demonstrations. So it's more like if you're wanting to show the students how something is supposed to go, then that's more of a simulation. But a game has more of a win factor to it, and it allows the players to determine the outcome of the game. And how do we implement these? It's important, or the best time to use a game would be like once you have taught a certain skill or a lesson for the day, you could allow the students to come up with some kind of game and play a game with a group or something to be able to determine what they've learned and show their learning for the day. And with simulations, it's more of they're learning as they go and using that simulation to help them learn. And a few examples of each, we just came up with a couple. For games, we came up with like subtraction pizza party. That's pretty simple. I mean, you're just using numbers to help kids visualize, or using pizza to help kids visualize how to answer math problems. And one example of a simulation was No Limits. This is like a roller coaster design simulator where you're actually using you're becoming the designer of a roller coaster through this simulation. And these are just a couple examples of TED Talks that you could go look up on your own if you felt like learning more about it.
And then there's our sources and credits. Hope you all enjoyed it.